as if you turn off your brain, stop thinking of what you are of the words, stop thinking about the words. On the whole, they are rather energetic. On the whole, they are rather optimistic. Sort of step out of your car and look at this car going past as if it was driven by another driver. And just listen to yourself. Imagine that it's not you producing these sounds on the whole there, but it's somebody, and you're just listening, and just focus on the sound that is being produced and try to remember the sound. Don't look at the language from your cell. Step outside and listen, as if you were listening to the radio, as if it was being produced by somebody else. And the car should move on, it should move fast. On the whole, they are rather optimistic. On the whole, and you should remember, on the whole, they are rather, on the whole, they are rather, on the whole, they are rather optimistic. On the whole, they are rather energetic. On the whole, they are rather enthusiastic. So, things like that. So, it's your charisma, it's your fun, it's your involvement, it's what you do for your students. So, what do we got? Of course, I work with, by the way, texts, just reading the texts, focusing on the pronunciation, on the linking, and all this stuff. Reading fast, reading, articulating everything, or linking. So we practice different areas of pronunciation, but I guess I'll have to teach that when I do the seminar on pronunciation. So what else? Again, when for example, I have a text. I'm really glad I've got a car. I've been driving for 15 years now, whatever. So just a text. We learn the text, and we learn the phrases from the text. One more thing I forgot to say that I can do. I can encourage my students to make their own text on the basis, using the pattern of the first text, using the phrases from the text. But if the first text was about driving, their text can be about smoking. So the original text was, I'm really glad I've got a car, I've been driving for 2 years now. Their text can be, I'm really glad I've got this habit, I've been smoking for 5 years now, or something like that. So they express their own ideas, the topic is different, so it's creativity, but they are put within the limits of a certain pattern, of a certain precedent, the way English has already been used. They should create, creativity should be encouraged, but only within certain limits. They shouldn't go too far. So I can give them this text and with gaps, and fill in the gaps, and you can make any text you want, any topic. I'm really glad I've got a guitar. I've been playing guitar for 15 years now. So the pattern of the text is the same, the topic is different, and you just practice speaking, practice the phrases and everything like that. I also love, when working with texts, I also love this type of drill when I just ask questions. It's a very simple thing, but I love it. When I encourage my students to answer my questions about the text using only the language of the text. Only the language, so you have to quote. So it's like, know the text by heart, but you don't have to just stand up and retell it, but just rather answer my questions, but you cannot use your own language, only the language from the text. Okay. Grammar, a few words about how I teach grammar. Well, first of all, I love such tables, such grids as this one, where different vocabulary, different structures are present, you can see. It's questions, what questions? What questions like, what does he teach? Or who teaches? Or with passive, who is English taught to? Or passive and direct order of what is taught to us? And then present simple, past simple, future simple. So it's just like, just English grammar reference book type of thing. But I made it myself, so I didn't copy it. It's my own thing, but there's nothing special. So I may come to the class just having this handout. I will explain it, we will read it, and of course then we will use some other phrases to put in these boxes to make our own our own sentences, our own questions. So we'll be practicing different types of questions. Active, passive, inversion, no inversion, in different tenses. So of course they have to know these tenses first, so I won't teach it at the beginning. But drilling. But grammar for me, of course, starts with explanation, and I guess I'll have a seminar teaching grammar. And then it is about presenting your information in this way, so that students could look at it, and a lot of things are clear. A lot of things are clear just from me looking at it. So, once again, the handouts should be. They should give information. So the role of a teacher should be minimized. To a certain extent, of course, where needed. And of course I may just sometimes just do the bloody reading with them. Past tenses, 4 columns. He traveled across Europe, he took an exam, he danced in a show, he had a terrible day, blah 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 blah, past simple, past simple, past simple. Then he was traveling across Europe, he was taking an exam, he was dancing in a show, all together as a class, just reading. That he had traveled across Europe, he had taken an exam, past perfect. So he had been traveling, he had been taking, he had been dancing. So spending 30 minutes of classroom time just reading these columns. Well, I don't know, like I said, I like it. Students like it. Sometimes once I spent 1 hour and a half just reading these types of grids. 500 or 600 sentences. All together. We're just sitting and reading all together. The students left. I know they said, let's do it again one day. I know that they weren't too ironic about it, so they meant it, at least to a certain extent. And the muscles. So studying English, it's also about your muscles, about the strength, the physical strength, the ability to move your lips, to move your tongue, do it for a long time without feeling too tired. And we just practiced. I mean, speaking practice really starts from here. If you don't work on your students' articulation, it will be really hard for some of them to learn to speak, for sure, because their articulation is terrible. Because they can't really control themselves when they're speaking. So, reading all the time. And then in lines. I say, take an exam and they have to give me 4 sentences, 4 tenses. It's drill. No communication. They should understand what they're saying. He took an exam, he was taking an exam, he had taken an exam, he had been taking an exam for a long time. This should be one line. It's a great challenge. And again, processing ability, being able to say all these things together, and controlling the language, controlling the grammar, making sure the form is right. So it's also a big challenge. But if I want to practice grammar in a more communicative way, I may put it in certain dialects, like for example, present perfect dialects that I have. Present perfect. We have different phrases here, like interrogate a criminal, post an ad, dress a salad, fire a person, stuff a chicken, whatever. Just sometimes vocative, sometimes just plain phrases, like play a role, pay a tax. Sometimes more provocative, like sell a kidney. And we have to put them in present perfect. So I have interrogated, I have posted, I have frisked, and we work on linking, we work on articulation and pronunciation, and then we put them in context in the dialogues, 2-liners. Like, I have taken 5 photos so far, but I'm still nowhere near ready. My students love the phrase, I'm still nowhere near ready. It takes them so much time to learn it, but when they understand that they should learn it as a sound, learn it as a song, they find it easier. But I'm still nowhere near ready. And then the next person in the dialogue says, I have taken 3, but I'm not complaining. And we replace the take photos with like crash a car. And they make the dialogue communicating. So I put 2 students together, facing each other, like on their chairs, facing each other. And one of them would say, I have crashed 5 cars so far, but I'm still nowhere near ready. I have crashed 3, but I'm not complaining. The other one replies. So it's drilling. Here it's drilling present perfect form. I have done, but in a communicative, I'm getting tired. In a communicative context, So they understand that they are sending certain messages, expressing certain ideas, maybe expressing certain emotions even. And here we are practicing recent action, and so it's drilling, but with emotions, and with some communicative meaning. And I make these dialogues myself, and and I'm sure you can do that too. No problem. So what else? What else I can tell you? Of course, when I teach, for example, verbs and prepositions like abstain from, benefit from, delight in, be expelled from, approve of, I drill, but then I just ask questions and ask my students to please answer the questions using the word from the question. Can you sympathize with people immigrating from Ukraine? Can you sympathize with people immigrating from Ukraine? And they work in pairs, they answer the question using sympathize with people, sympathize with people, sympathize with people. And if I want to really drill it, I just replace the word immigrating from Ukraine and I put some other phrases there. So, can you sympathize with people doing this? Can you sympathize with people doing that? And we spend 15 minutes just working with the phrase sympathize with people who, with sympathize with people who, and they work, they communicate, they speak, they share their ideas, but they say sympathize with people all the time. And I only come up with different ideas what kind of people we should sympathize with or not sympathize with. And they learn that you sympathize with somebody. So, and I also, whatever. So I guess that would be enough for today. Enough, more than enough. So 1 hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, a lot of time. So what can I say? Once again, I can share these materials with you, some of them, if you want, but it's not about me. It's my way. You can make use of that, but you should have your way. And I want just to share some of my ideas, maybe to shape your thinking, maybe to help you get rid of certain stereotypes, and make sure, instill certain moral beliefs of a right kind into you, if again you find them useful and practical and worth the while. And again, do give it a thought. Do feel free to comment, ask me questions, and I'll be happy to share with you. And I think next time what we're going to do is, the seminar is going to be about teaching grammar. How to teach grammar and what is grammar and things like that. So I guess it will be on Tuesday, and we'll have ladies. I'll have 2 ladies sitting, I hope, sitting here with me, and I'll be speaking with them. Anyway, thank you for being with me today, and thank you for listening, for watching, and have fun. Enjoy, teach, learn. See you next time.